Good evening. It's 8 o'clock. The top headlines tonight. An alliance led by the Congress will win in 2024, says the Congress President Kharge. But within hours, Rahul and Mamta Banerjee are trading barbs in Meghalaya. So, opposition unity a big question as its regional equations versus the national alliance dilemma. Ukraine's emergency call to India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. This as Russia's Putin meets China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi. Ajit Doval was in Russia last week. Wang Yi says will never give in to third-party coercion. The Sensex is below 60,000 for the first time in 3 weeks. Indian markets are hit by the crash in US markets. Global markets fall today on US rate hike worries. The RBI, meanwhile, here says it will be premature to lower guard on inflation. The Supreme Court refused to stay the Election Commission order, saying the Shinde Sena is the real Shiv Sena, giving it the name and the party symbol. Also, there's no stay on Shinde taking over property or bank accounts of the Shiv Sena, but the court tells the Shinde team to defer any actions like party whips or disqualifications. Sharad Pawar speaks out, asking how can the Election Commission give away a party like this? Fourth time lucky, Delhi finally gets a mayor after court orders smooth voting today. AAP's Shelly Oberoi is the new Delhi mayor, the first time Delhi's had a non-BJP mayor after 15 years. Venice without its canals? Well, it seems like a reality as the water in the city runs out. A severe drought currently has hit Italy as there are various climate red alerts globally. Actor Aaley Bhatt speaks out as paparazzi zoom in at her home. She posts that two men on a neighboring terrace of the building with a camera aimed right at me. Stars support Aaley and speak out against paparazzi. Our lead story tonight, where Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge said in Meghalaya that an alliance led by the Congress will win 2024. But within hours, already there were barbs being traded between Rahul Gandhi and Mamta Banerjee, both campaigning in Meghalaya, who each accusing the other of being the team B of the BJP. So that's really the big challenge for any opposition alliance. This, as Home Minister Amit Shah, also campaigning in Meghalaya yesterday, made the point again that it's Prime Minister Modi versus the rest.
In 2024, alliance government will come in center. Congress will lead. Let 100 Modis or Shah come. We are talking with other parties because otherwise the democracy on constitution will go. Therefore, with every party, now and then, we are calling, we are talking, we are sharing our views. How to win 2024.
You also know the history of the TMC. You know the scams, the Sharda scams that have taken place. So you're aware of their tradition. They came to Goa, spent huge amounts of money in Goa, and the idea was to help the BJP. And this is exactly the idea in Rekha.
দিল্লির বিজেপি কোনোদিন আপনাদের বন্ধু হবে না, দিল্লির কংগ্রেস পার্টি কোনোদিন আপনাদের বন্ধু হবে না। তারাও অনেকদিন ক্ষমতায় ছিল, একটা রাস্তা পর্যন্ত করতে পারেনি, কিন্তু তৃণমূল পার্টি আজকে করে দেখিয়ে দিয়েছে। আজও বলে যাই, তৃণমূল পার্টি পারবে, মনে রাখবেন, এবং তৃণমূল পার্টি মনে রাখবেন যে আপনাদের সকলের হয়ে কাজ করে দেখিয়ে যাবে তৃণমূল কংগ্রেস পারবে কি পারবে না। আর মেঘালয় ইলেকশনে তৃণমূলকে জিতিয়ে দিন, তৃণমূল আগামী দিন দিল্লি থেকে বিজেপিকে হটাবে, এই শপথের সূচনা আপনারা মেঘালয় করুন।
2019 में भी आपने मोदी जी के लिए अभद्र भाषा का प्रयोग किया था। नतीजा आपने देखा है।
कांग्रेस पार्टी का विपक्ष का स्टेटस भी जाता रहा और जिस प्रकार की भाषा आज इस्तेमाल की गई है और देश भर से जनता में से जिस प्रकार के रिएक्शन आ रहे हैं, आप 24 का नतीजा देखिएगा। राहुल जी, कांग्रेस पार्टी दूरबीन लेकर ढूंढने से भी नहीं मिलेगी। देश की जनता इसका हिसाब बैलेट बॉक्स के अंदर करेगी।
So let's just take a look at the opposition unity reality check. Sanket breaks it down state by state.
Let's now quickly talk about various states, because this contest is going to be significant in the states. In Uttar Pradesh, can alliances work? Well, in 2017, a Congress-SP alliance failed. In 2019, a Mayawati-Samajwadi alliance failed. In 2022, an alliance between Akhilesh Yadav and smaller regional parties also failed. It did not work. Let's quickly also tell you how the Congress is faring. So the Congress has been reduced to 2 MLAs in UP in 2022. Sonia Gandhi is the lone Congress MP from Uttar Pradesh for the Congress party. And in the 2022 Vidhan Sabha polls, the Congress vote share from last time, which was around 6%, has been reduced to 2.3%. That's the health of the Congress party. And their alliance was in the biggest state, Uttar Pradesh. In Bihar, the Congress is the junior most partner in the Bihar coalition. They are not part of the government. In the 2020 state elections, the Congress was reduced to 19 from the 2015 27. And the Congress is also criticized for a very poor strike rate. In 2020, they fought on 70 seats, but won only 19. So their track record is very poor. In West Bengal, the Congress's Sanjukta Morcha alliance with the left also failed. The TMC vote share was 48%. Out of 292 seats, the TMC won 213. Remarkable performance by the TMC. The BJP was a clear number 2 with 38% vote share. In fact, how the Congress is insignificant in West Bengal can be proven from the fact that the TMC's vote share actually increased from 2016. From 45, they've increased to 48. So what difference can a coalition in West Bengal of the Congress party really make? So that is going to be a significant question. In Maharashtra, we know there is a mega split in the Shiv Sena, which is going to hurt the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi. In 2019, the BJP and Shiv Sena together were with 51% vote share in the Lok Sabha. Now, obviously, with this new big faction, the Shinde faction with the BJP, they hope for a repeat. The Congress and NCP vote share was 32%. MIM's vote share was 7.6%. Could this possibly be an advantage to the BJP? And last but not the least, let's talk about Telangana. In Telangana, the BJP is preparing for a grand entry in Telangana. In 2018, 47% vote share for the BRS, 28% for the Congress. The BJP was at 7. Now this is significant because a year later in 2019, in the Lok Sabha, the BRS was at 41, reduced. Congress at 29, 1% increase, but the BJP made the maximum gain at 19.5%. The BRS is practicing its non-Congress, non-BJP formulation, but will the BRS come together with the Congress party to defeat a possible challenger in the BJP?
Sanket, thanks for that breakdown. But let's also look at the other big headline. And this is an emergency call from Ukraine's President's office to National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Now, remember, Mr. Doval was also in Russia just last week, and China's foreign minister is also currently in Russia. Vishnu, break this down for us.
Well, Andrea Yermak, the head of the office of President Zelensky of Ukraine, has briefed our National Security Advisor Ajit Doval about the situation on the front lines in his country, in the east where the war is raging. Now, this conversation follows the recent visit of Mr. Doval to Moscow, where he met Russia's President Vladimir Putin. Now, that's interesting because, remember, there's been this effort by the Ukrainians to reach out to India and say, you've got good offices in Russia, therefore can you help us with a peace plan? Interestingly, speaking about Russia, China's top diplomat Wang Yi is in Moscow, where he met President Putin, making it clear that China's relations with Russia would continue regardless of any changes in the international situation.
中俄的全面战略伙伴关系从不针对第三方，当然也就不受任何第三方的干扰和挑拨，我们更不会被 第三方的胁迫和施压所压倒。视频的会晤全面总结了两国关系的发展的成果。我们愿意同俄方一道，保持战略定力，深化政治互信，加强战略协作，拓展全方位的务实合作。那么，为维护我们两国的正当的权益。
So China's top diplomat in Moscow presently. But what about India? Again, Ajit Doval's conversation with the Ukrainian official, which happened yesterday, comes just days before the visit of the German Chancellor, one of the most important players in Europe. Germany has now confirmed that Chancellor Olaf Scholz will be discussing the Ukraine situation with Prime Minister Modi. It's high up on the agenda for talks. Significantly ahead of that visit, the German ambassador made it clear that India importing Russian oil is none of their business. That's a very important statement, and India cannot be blamed for securing low prices.
India buying oil from Russia is none of our business, basically. That's something that the Indian government decides, and as you get it at a very, very low price, I cannot blame the Indian government to buy it.
He also said significantly that sanctions against Russia may not last forever. They may go if Russia behaves in a certain way. That's again a very important statement from a German representative. But as far as India and Germany are concerned, Germany sees India as a key strategic ally with excellent business opportunity. The visit of the German Chancellor comes ahead of a forthcoming visit of the French President to India, also expected in the next few months. Also in the next few days, we'll see several foreign ministers of leading countries in the G20 here in India. Sonia.
Thanks so much, Vishnu. So lots of exciting diplomatic visits coming up. Let's just see how that actually develops. The one-year anniversary, the world pushing for peace. Can that actually happen with Russia and the US, really with Russia calling off that strategic nuclear pact? Well, in other headlines, Indian markets were hit badly today because of what's happening in the United States. Priyanshi, explain to us why markets today tanked so badly.
Well, Sonia, markets tanked by over 1.5%, and this was following global cues, following the US markets. Sensex lost 928 points and it ended at 59,744. In fact, this is how bad it is. Sensex fell below the 60,000 mark for the first time in almost 3 weeks. Nifty lost 272 points and it ended at 17,554. Now, all sectoral indices ended in the red. This was following weak cues from the global markets. US markets recorded their worst day of 2023 and fell by around 2%. Now, why are global markets falling? As the fears of more interest rate hikes from the United States Fed are now rising again. Why is that? Because of strong macroeconomic data in the United States. An S&P Global survey said that US business activity has rebounded to an 8-month high in February. Now, you must be wondering, why is strong economic data bad news for markets? Such data essentially reflects that the Fed's rate hikes are not hurting the economy significantly. Usually, rate hikes are expected to hurt economic growth. But if there's no significant negative impact seen, it signals that the Fed might announce more rate hikes, thinking that the economy is absorbing it. Now, these rate hikes make borrowing more expensive, so they take the markets down. And the rate hike concern is not limited just to the United States. It's back in India as well, with the RBI's minutes of the MPC meeting that have been released today. Now, this meeting announced the 25 basis point rate hike on Feb 8th, and the minutes say they hint at more interest rate hikes, though the pace might be lower. The minutes say that the RBI governor said that it will be premature to pause the interest rate hikes, and another member, Dr. Rajiv Ranjan, said that there are no definitive signs of slowing in inflation, though the rate hikes might not be as sharp as 50 basis points. Minutes say that there is a case for bringing down the pace of rate hikes to the usual 25 basis points, so rate hikes might not be as sharp as last year's pace, but they're likely to continue, Sonia.
Thanks so much, Priyanshi. So, well, let's see how that actually plays out in the markets tomorrow as well. But in other news, the big political story, the Supreme Court admitted a plea by Uddhav Thackeray against the Election Commission order giving his father's party's name and symbol, the Shiv Sena and the bow and arrow symbol, to Eknath Shinde. The Supreme Court refused to stay the Election Commission order and also refused to stay the transfer of any property or bank accounts. However, they told Eknath Shinde's camp that they shouldn't be issuing whips or disqualifying any MLAs. Meanwhile, the NCP Shelly Oberoi spoke out, saying the Election Commission has no right to give away a party.
The biggest bone of contention for the Uddhav Thackeray faction wanting a stay of the Election Commission's order was not accepted by the Supreme Court. The Shiv Sena symbol and name will remain with the Eknath Shinde camp, and the flaming torch symbol will remain with the Uddhav Thackeray faction till the Supreme Court adjudicates the matter. The Supreme Court, however, was able to get an assurance from the Eknath Shinde faction of not taking any steps to issue a whip or disqualify any member.
कोर्टाकडे निवडणूक आयोगाच्या निकालावर विरोधी पक्षांनी स्थगिती मागितली होती, ती स्थगिती नाकारलेली आहे. शिवसेना आणि धनुष्यबाण निवडणूक आयोगाने घेतलेला निर्णय कायम ठेवलेला आहे. त्यामुळे आणखी जी काही पुढे सुनावणी होईल त्याच्यावर पुढे निर्णय होईल. परंतु आत्ताच्या परिस्थितीमध्ये जे निवडणूक आयोगाने दिलेला निर्णय शिवसेना पक्ष कुणाचा आणि धनुष्यबाण या बाबतीमध्ये त्यांची याचिका फेटाळलेली.
आज तक इलेक्शन कमीशन के सामने कई इश्यूज गए, शिकायतें गई, मगर इलेक्शन कमीशन ने ऐसा कभी डिसीजन लिया है हमने देखा नहीं कि एक राजनीतिक दल उस राजनीतिक दल के नेतृत्व के हाथ से निकाल कर और किसी के हाथ में नहीं रहना.
A day after the Eknath Shinde faction took over the parliamentary party office in parliament, Kapil Sibal, appearing for Uddhav Thackeray, wanted a stay on taking over properties or bank accounts, which the Chief Justice of India's bench refused to do so, as it's not in the Election Commission order and can legally be challenged if the Eknath Shinde takes any steps.
Regarding the SLP, the Honorable Court did hear the opening, but as caveat was filed by the other side, they opened it and all chorus was made in the court, where naturally Honorable Supreme Court while hearing, and from our side Kapil Sibal and Abhishek Manu Singhvi and Devdutt Kamath also, very few sentences could be uttered, but all the same Honorable Supreme Court was quick enough to grant us that this position be continued till further orders.
The Supreme Court continued to hear the constitution matter, which will ultimately decide whether the legislative majority of the Shinde group is a safe guide to decide that it is the Shiv Sena. With camera person Joseph, Sunil Prabhu, NDTV.
And Delhi now has a new mayor after 3 attempts, once the Supreme Court had said that aldermen nominated by the Lieutenant Governor could not vote. So the AAP candidate Shelly Oberoi easily won. She is the first non-BJP mayor in Delhi after 15 years.
The Aadmi party leaders celebrating inside the MCD house in Delhi after Arvind Kejriwal's party defeated the BJP in the capital's mayor elections by over 30 votes. The capital's new mayor, 39-year-old Shelly Oberoi, a former Delhi University professor, will head one of the world's largest municipal corporations that impacts nearly 20 million people living in the capital, with the services that come under it. From running smaller schools and dispensaries to building city roads, drains, treating waste and levying key taxes. The BJP has been voted out of power from the MCD after nearly 15 years.
कल से ही हमारी जो कार्रवाई है नगर निगम की उसकी शुरुआत होगी और कल से ही हमारे जितने पार्षद जो पहले से ही अपने वार्ड में काम कर रहे थे कल ऑफिशियल तरीके से पूरी दिल्ली में काम शुरू हो जाएगा और साथ ही कूड़े के पहाड़ों की इंस्पेक्शन भी अगले 3 दिनों में हम लोग करेंगे.
The win comes after 3 failed attempts at holding elections and a Supreme Court order which upheld the Aadmi party's plea.
विपक्ष को पूरा राइट होता है चुनाव लड़ने का और वो हमने लड़ा. ये संशय, ये द्वंद्व जो था वो आम आदमी पार्टी के अंदर ही था कि क्या होने वाला है. उनको लगता था पता नहीं क्या हो जाएगा, हमारे काउंसलर उठा के ले जाएंगे, क्रॉस वोटिंग हो जाएगी.
Now that Delhi has a mayor after nearly 2 months of the Aadmi party's decisive victory in the MCD elections, many challenges ahead for the new corporation. Primary among them would be bringing down these mountains of shame in the national capital and solving Delhi's garbage issue. In New Delhi with camera person Sushil Rathi and Gauri Prasad, Vedant for NDTV.
And moving across to America, where 2024 is also a big election year. Indian-American tech entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy has launched his 2024 presidential bid. First, of course, he has to get the Republican nomination with the promise to put merit back and to end dependence on China. Vivek Ramaswamy, a long shot, is the second Indian-origin person to enter the Republican Party's presidential primary bid after Nikki Haley.
In America, free speech is important. The
37-year-old tech entrepreneur and investor Vivek Ramaswamy is the second person of Indian origin to join the US presidential race, announcing his bid for the Republican Party's presidential primary. A week after former two-term South Carolina governor and former US ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley announced her bid, also from the Republican Party. Ramaswamy's parents migrated to the United States from Kerala and worked at a General Electric plant in Ohio. According to his bio, Ramaswamy founded the healthcare company Roivant Sciences in 2014. And in 2022, he launched Strive Asset Management, a new firm that advises companies on how to focus on excellence over politics.
Today, the woke left preys on that vacuum. They tell you that your race, your gender, and your sexual orientation govern who you are, what you can achieve, and what you're allowed to think. This is psychological slavery, and that has created a new culture of fear in our country that has completely replaced our culture of free speech in America.
Both Ramaswamy and Haley will contest against ex-US President Donald Trump for the Republican Party's nomination. With Vishal Vivek, Osama Shab for NDTV.
And the other big headline we are tracking internationally and in India are the climate red alerts globally. The big one now is that Venice and its canals are literally running out of water. Nayantara has this report.
Well, climate change is already making its presence felt very early this year with a series of bizarre weather conditions around the world. The canals in Venice, that's right, the famous canals in Venice have dried up to a large extent. Usually they run at a risk of overflooding, but Italy's had an unusually dry winter. And most of its lakes and rivers have also reported water levels that are even lower than they are in peak summer. It's not just Italy though, because France has seen a record dry spell of 31 days without much rain. Spain is also reporting water reserves at about half capacity. All of this is significant because this isn't supposed to be happening in February. Winter is supposed to be a crucial time of the year when rain and snow recharge water reserves. And this is all signaling a major drought for Europe, which already saw its hottest summer on record last year in 2022. Now, the United States, on the other hand, is experiencing bizarre weather too, with half the country expecting an early summer. Places like Florida and Atlanta seeing temperatures between 25 and 30 degrees. But the other half of the country is bracing for a brutal winter storm that's going to plunge temperatures to 5 degrees below normal. Moving on to the situation at home, India too is facing the prospect of an early summer, and the Met Department has forecast temperatures 3 to 5 degrees higher than normal in northwest and central India. But hill states are going to have it even worse, with predicted temperatures of 5 to 11 degrees above normal. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Nayantara. And in other news, actress Alia Bhatt has spoken out today as paparazzi zoomed in literally at her home. In a post, the actress has pointed out that she was just sitting in her living room and she felt something watching her. It turned out to be two men with cameras zooming in from the terrace of a neighboring building. Stars have come out in her support versus the paparazzi.
Several Bollywood stars call out paparazzi for invasion of privacy and come out in support of actor Alia Bhatt. This after a popular entertainment news portal posted pictures of Alia Bhatt taken without her consent while she was inside her house. In an Instagram story, Alia tagged the Mumbai police and said she saw two men on the terrace of her neighboring building with a camera right at her. She asked, in what world is this okay? And she called it a gross invasion of her privacy. Janhvi Kapoor called it disgustingly intrusive, adding that the same publication took pictures of her at her gym without her consent. Actor Anushka Sharma remembered that it was the same platform that posted photos of her daughter despite repeated requests. Karan Johar too said that this violates anybody's basic human right to feel safe in their own homes.